Hi everyone. So, last night was crazy. Well, thankfully I'm okay. Thankfully I'm fine. It's just that around 11:30 someone knocked on the door, but also rung the bell. It was a woman and she was freaking out over the fact that her son hit her. Her son hit her. And she was freaking out. She went over to my dad's, knocked the door and rung the bell, and he answered, and they probably called the police. I'm not sure, because I'm pretty sure that didn't happen. All I know is that it just happened out of completely nowhere around 11:30. And to top it all off, the last sound that I heard last night was a man yelling in the neighborhood for some reason. Like, I wish I would have screamed, saying, "People are trying to sleep!" You know, because people are trying to sleep at, it's fucking late outside at 11 to 12 o'clock. Do you even know what time it is? It's time for bed. It was crazy. I mean, it was sorry. Yeah, today's Saturday and yesterday was Friday. And ironically, it's February 1st, so Valentine's Day is coming up. Yay. So, I've been thinking about my character Richard Hayes for the most part, actually, about continuing the certain stories that I've made of him and doing some more, or at least a few. One of them being a sequel story involving the character Shadow, Ryu Kenshin. I am just gonna say this. I am just gonna say this. Now, when I originally had the character of Ryu Kenshin, Shadow, in Richard's story, it was mostly due to my triggered emotions during that time, and I was still overwhelmed by certain stuff that was happening during that time. And so I decided to add Shadow into that story because I was upset. I was deeply upset. So basically, Richard has Shadow over at his house due to Hayabusa inviting him. Richard doesn't like Shadow. And when Richard notices Shadow's camera, pictures full of women, naked, topless, or in bikinis, Richard goes mad, smashes Shadow's camera into pieces, and throws it down the incinerator. And then, the next day, Richard kills Shadow by locking him in in the garden shed and setting it on fire. And it's too late. I already have Shadow in like a few of Richard's stories, and even though now I would feel like Richard and Shadow would be friends, but Richard still wouldn't like him due to certain reasons. I now feel like I'm not sure anymore. Would it really be necessary for someone to be friends with another person that they absolutely despise in life and would either want dead or want them to stay out of their sight? Mainly because of certain problems: trauma, harems, sexual assault, women with attractive bodies, seductive attitudes, and would either just want to have sex with a man or just be someone who, I don't know, wants to have fun. No, Richard is not one of those people who would support those certain women. He would hate them, despise them, absolutely would want to murder them, especially blondes. Now, Richard wants to have a serious relationship with someone, but at the same time, he doesn't want to have sex with his partner due to obvious reasons. He's afraid of sex. He doesn't like it. He hates it. And it mostly reminds him of the trauma that he endured when he was a child and also was sexually assaulted by one of his ex-girlfriends. And, yeah. That. And he's completely against someone being an absolute pervert. I'm serious. In the story where he meets Ryu Hayabusa, where Kasumi, Hitomi, Helena Douglas, and Kokoro show up at Richard's house and befriend one another. They joke about how they got revenge on Ryu by throwing his swim trunks on the roof due to him spying on them in the bathhouse. And Richard, hearing about this, confronts him about him actually being a pervert, which I have seen in another piece of fan art that is absolutely hilarious, with Ryu's face being so giddy and cartoonish. It's so good. It's so good. It's honestly way too perfect. Anyway. Richard informs Ryu and the girls to not do anything stupid while he's in his room, alone. Ryu takes advantage of this, knocks out the girls, including Kasumi, rapes Kokoro and Hitomi, and when Richard notices Ryu doing what he's doing, he screams at him and smacks him hard across the face and knocks him out with a baseball bat while still yelling at him. When Kasumi notices, Richard breaks down sobbing. All of the girls wake up, they get dressed, and leave right away. Ryu apologizes and apparently didn't remember what just happened. So, yeah. Yeah, that's something. I do also want to say that I have nothing against people shipping characters, especially if it's not ships that I'm exactly happy about, especially since certain characters have little to no interaction with each other in their canon stories. Like, seriously, Ryu has no canon interactions with Kokoro at all. I mean it. And I also don't have a problem with anyone having the female characters naked, because I'm just gonna be honest, I've seen much, much worse. And one of the worst things that I've seen, which is the most disgusting and disturbing, is obviously from a Serbian film from 2010, where a scene involving a newborn baby being born and it gets raped by a doctor in a basement and it dies. It dies from being raped. Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. And it's disturbing to hear the baby's wails, and it horrifies me. I really wouldn't imagine anything happening to a baby or child. You know, rape, sexual assault, pornographic imagery. No, 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 absolutely not. But here's the thing, so I have seen certain manner of the same thing, a naked woman, female character, and it having sexy bedroom eyes, especially where either naked, topless, or wearing an absolutely confusing but interesting bikini or swimsuit, and telling the viewer or the male character within his POV of the girl, telling him that stuff like you want to have fun or have sex or something like that. It makes me uncomfortable. No, really, it does. And there was a reason why I have my character be afraid of sex. There are reasons why. Originally, my character, Richard Hay, was just a sort of alternate horror fan-made version of Ryu Hayabusa, but instead he's now his own character. Richard Hayes is a man afraid of sex in a serious relationship with someone he deeply cares about, who reminds him of a certain someone from his past who died, who he had a crush on. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video or not. I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.